Smudge Wellness. It's your girl Jasmine Kylene. I'm a spiritual counselor, I'm a journalist, I'm a human doing her absolute best, and I'm so excited to be with you guys again. So as we are in Scorpio season, honey, the veil is very thin, and I feel like the dialogue and the conversation surrounding rituals is becoming a bit more loud and common, and honestly just like what it means to be sort of in intuitive alignment with yourself. And so I wanted to share some of the ways in which I pour rituals into my every single day and how those rituals make me feel the most aligned and sort of spiritually strong. And it's worth noting that you can make a ritual out of everything. I mean, honestly, brushing your teeth every single day is a ritual because it's something that you do on a consistent basis, and you do it with intention, you do it with presence. So when it comes to rituals, you can kind of make something out of anything, and it's important to make sure that what you choose to make ritualistic in your routine is something that honors what it means to feel good, what your truth is, and what feeling the most aligned for you looks like. So here are the rituals that I practice on a daily basis to make me feel the most this. The first ritual that I do is every morning before I consume anything, I pray over it. So typically this is either like warm water with lemon, or like a green juice, or tea, or like whatever it is that I'm first consuming, even if it's just like a glass of water. I make sure to pray over it, and the reason why is because everything holds energy, right? And there's been a ton of experiments as far as like plants that you talk to lovingly versus plants that you talk to with anger and resentment, and the ways in which they grow differently, right? Everything responds to energy. And so when you speak over the first thing that you're going to consume, and you speak over it lovingly and with intention, it kind of bleeds into and alchemizes the energy that's within your body when the two come together. And it's important to me that it's the first thing that hits my body, because you know, whatever you do throughout the day is whatever you do throughout the day, but what you do immediately upon like the first 30 minutes of your day really sets the tone for it. So talking over my water or whatever beverage I'm going to consume and just speaking loving affirmations, I'll like put my hands over and I'll say, you know, I am worthy, I am grateful, I am enough, I'm going to have a beautiful day, I'm going to sing today, I'm going to see pretty colors today, I'm going to experience love today. And setting the tone for how I'm going to experience the rest of my 24 hours on a spiritual level, on an emotional level, but also on a physical level, right? Because when you consume that beverage that you've just done a prayer over, it really sort of changes the chemistry of it. And it's important because I feel like we don't question that when we like have a group dinner and, you know, we all sort of like say grace and hold hands and pray over something. And yet that's lost when we have like our own individual relationships with what we consume. So the first ritual that I love, love, love and commit to on a daily is just speaking over what it is I'm going to consume. And if I have time, I'll kind of like, if it's a beverage, it typically is a beverage, I'll like sit it on my windowsill and have it be charged by the sun for a little bit, for like 5 minutes, and then I'll consume it. So yeah, however that looks like for you, just know that that's a beautiful way that I've been intentional about my everyday. So the next ritualistic thing that I do every day is pretty obvious, and it's that I meditate and I stretch every morning before I go on social media. And this one I am working on being more committed to. I've had my phases with it. There are times in my life where I am so strict on it, and then there are times like right now where I'm kind of not as good with it, but I do my best to, before I, you know, wake up, I grab my phone and I start doom scrolling, and just sort of like social media will kind of let me know, hey, this is how we feel today, as opposed to if I wake up, stop my alarm, my loving alarm that's just the sound of birds singing, and then I go into, you know, some sort of meditation, or I move my body and stretch, or I do a combination of two. I'm sort of letting myself set the tone for how my day is going to be, which already in itself is going to be a day where I'm intentional, a day where I'm prioritizing my self-care, and a day where I'm anchored in a centered peace. So it's a ritual that's so important because it definitely bleeds to how you experience the rest of the day. And I notice such a difference when I just wake up and I'm like, I'm gonna check my DMs and respond to the emails, and like before my brain has even like experienced any sort of sensation, I'm already stimulating it. So a ritual that I really love to do is to wake up and meditate. And meditation, and I think the pretty part about that is that you can sort of do a dance with how you feel you want that meditation or that stretching to look like that day. So there's some days where I want to do a silent meditation, I want to do a guided one, I want to do some chanting, I want to do a full-on like vinyasa, I want to just like lay in child's pose for 10 minutes. Whatever it feels like intuitively in that moment is cool, but as long as I'm committed to doing it. The next thing that I love and commit to doing ritualistically on a daily basis is distractionless walks. And what I mean by distractionless walks is that sometimes we can go on walks, and that is always good. what a sentence. But sometimes we can be distracted when we're walking, whether we're like on the phone or we're texting or even when we're listening to music, which yes, can absolutely raise your vibration, listening to a podcast, listening to music, and I love to do that as well. But I like to allot at least 10 minutes of my walking time to just be present in the walk. And that means consuming the sounds that I'm hearing, taking in the people that are surrounding me, noticing and observing the nature that's surrounding me, whether I'm walking, you know, in a park or I'm walking throughout the city. I'm in Madrid. So it really depends on like what's happening around me. Just knowing that I'm fully consuming it without being distracted, I think is one of the best ways that I've been able to really have like a beat to follow when it comes to my peace. You know, if I know that I've had a hectic day or if I have a lot to do that day, going on a distractionless walk for some reason just puts my mind and my body in this like balanced state of like, you got this, you're good, because you're just this like little creature that giggles a lot on a floating rock. So just like look at the flowers. So I would totally recommend that you start incorporating distractionless walks into your routine and into your rituals. It's a form of meditation, a meditative walk. If you aren't distracting yourself by like listening to a podcast or like talking on the phone, because then you're not really present with your surroundings. And I think the point of it is to be as present and as aware as you can possibly be. And lastly, this ritual depends on where we're at with the moon phases, but I'm very intentional when it comes to the moon phases. Obviously, I'm an astrologer. I also host moon gatherings. Join me if you want to. But if it's a full moon, I will always do some sort of releasing ritual. And if it's a new moon, I'll do some sort of manifesting ritual. So the manifesting ritual typically looks like just doing some automatic writing or scripting in my journal, which journaling of course is also a part of my ritualistic routine. But yeah, I'll just sit down and I'll be like, hey, I'm gonna free flow and really script out what it is that I desire out of my experience and what I want to feel, and feeling it and putting emotion to my words in a present tense. It's a really powerful way to manifest, and also when you're working alongside a new moon that is like just energetically supporting, calling in new things to your environment. It's a lot of fun. It's an intentional way to work with the planetary energies, and also it's just a beautiful way to see what you can create when you allow yourself to move boundlessly through your imagination. And also, if it is a full moon, darling, if you want to have the space to invite in all that you're manifesting, girl, you have to release. So I do a lot of burning rituals. Like I'll just kind of write down like, okay, girl, this is what we are no longer inviting in, what we're no longer tolerating, and I'll burn it. Because fire is just a powerful element, girl. There's also many ways to release things. You don't always have to work with fire. You can also like bury things, but whatever the case may be, doing something that's intentionally ritualistic when it comes to what you're releasing is also a beautiful way that I work with the full moon. And so yeah, those are a handful of the ways in which I make my life as ritualistic as possible. And I do want to say that I think why it's important that we cultivate rituals throughout our lives and throughout our daily lives is because it makes this existence a bit more magical. And when you pour intentionality into the very small things in life, it begins to alter the way that you experience all things in life, larger and smaller. When you have an appreciation for the ways that you spend 5 minutes in the morning, or the ways in which you honor a moon phase, you start to appreciate other things, like the dinner that you share with a friend, or you know, a movie that you see, or just a cute dog that's passing you. It just, there's a sense of gratitude that comes with knowing that like this is an allotted time that I'm spending for myself to feel a thing, and I have the power to do that, and I have the power to live this life of autonomy. So I have a friend who, their ritual is that they chew gum every single day, and every time they chewed gum on a day that was really good for them, they'll save the wrapper of that gum and they'll put it into like a container. And now that container is just full of gum wrappers, and it kind of for them serves as a reminder of like, this is how many good days I've had and how many good days I will have. And if I'm having a bad day, I can look at that jar and be like, but look at how many good I've already have and I'll continue to have. And I think that in itself is such a beautiful way of being grateful and intentional when it comes to how you're experiencing this life. So I would invite you to cultivate rituals that honor whatever happiness and presence looks like for you, and whatever feeling the best looks like for you. So for me, speaking over my green juice in the morning lets me know like, girl, you are using the power of your words, the power of vibration to uplift yourself and to have a good day. And like, what's cooler than that? I'm sure a couple things, but it's pretty cool to me. So anyway, thank you so much for listening, and I hope you take this as an opportunity to perhaps look at what kind of rituals you can cultivate for yourself. So I'm sending you all my love. Thank you to Smudge Wellness for housing my voice, and if you want to work with me one-on-one or consume more of my content, you can follow me on Instagram at Jasmine Kylene, or visit Jasmine Kylene on YouTube and on Instagram. Oh, did I already say Instagram? You can visit JasmineKylene.com. Oh my god, okay. I'm gonna go on that distractionless walk now. Have a good one.